So Sheree is throwing shade in her new book while Matt is throwing punches. In the meantime, Candy's ex-assistant is taking the petty route while Peter still tries to get some on the low. Let's discuss. What's going on YouTube?
Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamar here once again. What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar here once again. And we're here to talk about this new episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the stuff just keeps getting messier and messier and messier as the episodes go on. And I'm here for it all. Very much a better season than last one, because last season kind of just was all over the place a little bit. Bless her heart to Kim's feels, but she didn't belong. She did not belong. Now this week, my cable was on doing some other stuff, so I actually missed, or I didn't get the chance to record the first like 10-15 minutes of the actual episode. I don't think I missed much. Because I came in right when Portia and her brother were talking about her moving out the house. So I don't think I missed too much. You know, if there's anything that I missed, below that was actually worth a damn to talk about, leave it down in below. But quickly, we're going to get the minor stuff out the way until we get to the good shit. Sheree and her book. So apparently she's been writing this new book for about a couple of years. And it's like it's not I guess a tell-all, but she's basically taking events from her life and people from her life and kind of giving them new names and sort of taking the stories and embellishing it a little bit and trying to make it into this big, juicy Lifetime movie version of the book, basically. And, if anybody's going to be messy about and do a tell-all, it would be Sheree. So, she's trying to, I guess she's trying to keep this a secret, but it's on TV, but I guess by now it doesn't matter. I don't know. But her and Bob were doing this, she tried to go to, what is it called? Macro? I forget what the exercise is called. But she tried to find a new personal trainer to get her a new exercise to keep her body right. And she found this guy who does whatever the name of the sport is called. And obviously she didn't Google this before she went because I can't remember what it's called, macro or something like that, but I know it's like the sport of people to jump from building to building and swing from shit and do all this other type of crazy mess. So I was like, I don't think she realized what it is that she was going in for. So her and Bob tried it and he was up there sweating bullets and she was like, if he's gonna get with me, I'm gonna need him to drop 50 plus pounds. She had to add that plus in there just to be shady. But I mean, look, if you're trying to get me back, I'm going to need you to, give me a reason to come back, Especially after you've cheated. I mean, for me, I don't know if there would be a way to come back after cheating, honestly. Because in order for a relationship to work, there has to be trust. There's no trust, then what's the point? What's we standing here for? But that was it with Sheree. She tried to open her book. Get her new book published to get all that stuff squared away. So good for her. Next, we get to let's talk about Portia real quick. Let me get Portia out the way. So Portia trying to get her new house together. She's running on a deadline to move out of her old house. She's feeling good because, the old house, I believe, is when the one that her and Cordell were in, and she was going through her whole divorce, and, it meant a lot. So for her to leave this house, it kind of is like a rejuvenation. It's like saying goodbye to the old Portia, welcoming to the new. And so she decided to move back in with her mom during this little time period. And Todd is in town, and she wants, him to come through. You know what the come through is. And so she's asked him to be quiet and, come on into the house because she's asleep. But the thing is, as they filming it, her sneaking into the house, I stop and I'm like, but wait, you're worried about your mama hearing the two of you, making noise. But yet I'm sure that the production crew to film this shit had to come up with all their vans, all their equipment, all their cameras, and that's not what you worried about her hearing? I'm like, okay, either the mom knows and just doesn't give a fuck because she knows that this is a show being filmed, or she wasn't home, or they just made it seem like they were trying to be quiet. Because I could just not imagine you have all these people, because it's not just one, maybe 1 to 2 cameramen filming this scene. Maybe there is, but it just seems like it's going to take a lot for them to film this, and y'all trying to all be quiet at the same time. I don't think so. I don't think so. But anyways, so they in the room, they messing around or whatever, and and they start talking about, like, do you remember how it was? And he was like, yeah, it was tight. And he's like, she's like, I'm trying to make it tighter with this little egg thing. I'm like, something seemed like that scene. I felt like that scene barely made it through the edit because that seemed a little far and that was a little more adult than I would have expected from Bravo to go. Like, they've talked about sex before, but it just seemed odd for producers to sit there and talk, for a man and a woman to talk about how tight the pussy used to be. I just wasn't prepared for it. But she's burning sage and stuff, trying to make the atmosphere, you know what it is. I'm like, did y'all ever go through that phase of trying to sneak your boyfriend or girlfriend into your parents' house and have your way with them? Like, did y'all have those days when you were young? I didn't really have those days, because when I was staying with my folks, I really wasn't dating for real, or at least not dating seriously enough to try to invite nobody over. If anything, I'd probably try to go visit wherever they were staying, but I didn't have to do that whole let's be quiet type thing. It's shit. If I had to do all that, it wouldn't even about to go down. You had to get a hotel or something. I was about to be trying to be all sneaky and whatnot. I felt too old. But apparently they love each other, and they trying to get this thing popping off. So I just, because Portia has a boyfriend every season. Like, what was it, last year she had Duke, and then later on, who was she dating? Wasn't she dating that Puerto Rican or that other man that was like light skinned when they was on vacation last year? I can't remember what his name was. But she has a revolving door of niggas that she just trying to wait for one to stick. Her and Kenya are almost like kind of the same. But it seems like Kenya's are more hired because I feel like Portia's like actually trying to date these people and they don't seem like they're hired. But whatever. Let's see. Have I gotten all the good, the little petty stuff out the way? Okay, yeah, it seems that I have. So let's get to the good stuff. So Candy's having this bedroom candy convention, okay, where she has all her consultants come together. They listen to different inspirational speakers. They get new selling techniques so that they can make more money, so she can make more money, and they can make more money together. All makes sense. So she apparently hired her old assistant named Johnny. Now, I'm not familiar with Johnny. People who have watched the show longer than I have probably remember who Johnny is. So this is my first introduction to his ass. And apparently they have a history to where he was let go because he was also an event coordinator, and it wasn't uncommon for him to just kind of drop whatever he was hired for Candy to just do whatever he was doing on the side, which makes all sense to me because if I'm hiring you to do a job, I want you to do that job properly in the way that I expect you to do it. Now, whatever else you're doing at the same time, that's your business. But if you allowing whatever your side job to do is to interact with what I'm paying you to do, then it's just, it's going to be a done deal. So they got into this whole heated argument about, he even posting something on Instagram separating the real from the fake and all this other stuff. And she's like, one thing I've never been is fake. And if you felt some type of way, why didn't you just, why didn't you say it at the time or whatever? And he was like, I just felt like we could have talked and this, that, and the fourth. And as they got heated and, more and more, he said something about, because she was like, well, look, the thing that I'm paying you to do, if you ain't doing it, then, we got to separate. And he was like, well, do you feel like what I was paid was worth what I was doing? And Candy was like, oh, really? Well, I'm just going to take my fake money, okay? And this is going to be the last fake check that you're going to get. And we can just be done with the situation from here on. Cool, cool. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I just can't imagine, like, anything that Candy, I feel like Candy pays really, really well. Now, I'm not sure, like, of course, we don't really know the ins and outs of what be going on with their whole agreement. But this is what made this kind of suspect. So he then goes to Phaedra's office seeking some sort of lawsuit advice. I'm like, this is messy. This is so messy. Like, cause what are the odds that he's gonna come back and try to seek advice as far as filing lawsuits with an attorney that just so happens to be going through a spat with their friendship with Candy? I'm like, okay, we're gonna roll with this. We're gonna roll with this. So he's asking her, and of course Phaedra's like, oh, well, it seems like things aren't going so well over there at the factory and things of this nature. Y'all know how Phaedra be. And she was like, asking like, well, so what was your, relationship? How was the business relationship? Like, how are you being handled and whatnot? And he was saying that he was like, the wedding planner. He did all this other stuff for Candy for about 4 years. And he was working like 80 plus hours and only getting paid so much. And, Phaedra's saying, oh, slavery was abolished X number of years ago. But here's the thing that I was wondering. I know for me, if I was working 80 plus hours with somebody, and apparently they said they was opening up a restaurant and he was caught off guard when her and Todd wanted to make a restaurant, but I'm like, this is her husband though. They wanted to be a family restaurant. You're not family. But I digress. I can't imagine going for even a year, it's not even 6 months. If you're working with somebody and you're working all these hours a week and you're only being paid minimal or whatever, why did you take this pay? And Candy mentioned this. If you were so concerned about what you were being paid, why did you continuously accept the payment? If there was a dispute about how much you were getting paid, why did you continue to accept said payment for over 4 damn years? That would be my question. Why is it a problem with your payment that you were getting now, after you've already been fired? Apparently, they've been separated for a long time. And now all of a sudden, there's a problem with how you were getting paid. But yet, while you were getting that money, it wasn't a problem. Now, when you fired and you have to come back for a quick fix, now all of a sudden you want to file a lawsuit. That would be my question. If I was the judge, I'd be like, so why are you just now filing this lawsuit after 4 years of accepting this payment? Why is this just now becoming a problem? I don't understand that. So I'm like, well, good luck with whatever you're trying to do. And I guess I had to applaud Phaedra for not trying to get involved and try to act as his attorney. But she was like, I can tell you maybe who you can try to go to, but I'm not about to get involved in this because that would just be even more messy. If he tried to sue Candy and then Phaedra was his attorney, mess. That would be horrible. There'd be no coming back from that. Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, and really, Candy was being shown like a lesbian same sex toy thing, and I'm not sure. And I think I had to rewind it a few times because I wasn't sure if I understood the explanation that the lady was giving, how one would receive the other piece. I didn't know. Maybe if those, of my lesbian sisters who were in the comments could explain to me how those toys work. Because when she said it, I was confused. I'm not on that side, so I can't relate. But I was just curious to know. Anywho, let's see. Where am I? Okay, yep, we're here at the finale of this episode now. So Cynthia and Kenya are on their way to North Carolina to go to Peter's Bar 1 grand opening, whatnot, or his event. And Peter said that he wanted to, I guess he was inviting Kenya or booking Kenya to host the event. And he wanted to ask her if it was okay to book, well, not really book, but invite Matt because him and Matt were got bonded last season with her and Todd having guy time, whatever. And initially, apparently, Kenya said yes for reasons I can't understand. But she did. And so her and Cynthia are in the little rental room or whatever that it is that they're staying in. And she is looking up on the shade room, and he's talking about how Peter invited me to this event, and guess who canceled my flight? Kenya Moore, trying to make it seem like she's crazy and manipulative again, which I don't believe is false. Honestly, I just don't feel like it's to the degree that he's making it out to be. I just can't feel like you or anybody who's competent enough wouldn't be able to see you straight through what Kenya's doing. But I digress again. And then he's saying that, and then Kenya's telling Cynthia that she's getting all these messages talking about if you call the police, you're going to regret it. Anything that you do, you're going to regret it. If you're flirting with another man, and I see it, and you're going to regret it. And I'm just like, oh, so you're threatening me now? Okay, so now she's feeling like she's afraid to go to this gig because Matt's going to be crazy. Let me tell you something. Kenya, I'm going to need you to get you a good old taser and a good old can of mace. Okay? Because let me tell you one thing that no man, no Naka, is going to get in the way of for me is my coin. If I'm booked to be somewhere, best believe I'm going to be there. Okay? Now, if you decide to show up, well, we can take this outside. We can do whatever you need to do. But you're not going to mess up this coin that I'm trying to earn here, okay? You better let me do my event, and then we can do what we have to do afterwards. But you ain't finna mess this up now. I'm just saying. Anyways, so at first, she was Cynthia came, and of course he didn't expect to see Cynthia, so they were having a little moment of seeing each other after a certain amount of time. And she pulled her aside to talk to us, like basically expressing the concerns that Kenya had. And turns out Kenya did show up because she, like me, was like, look, I'm not about to let this thing get in the way of my coin, so here I am. And before she could even exit the car, here comes Matt talking about, I need to talk to you. And Kenya tells the driver, like, look, this man that's approaching is dangerous. I'm going to need you to do something about that, or can we speed away or whatever. And Matt comes up to the thing, and apparently... Now, I was hearing two sides. Because Matt said one thing and Kenya said the next. Matt said that he tried to talk to her, and and she tried to roll the window up on his neck. Like, apparently his head was in the car, and she tried to roll the window up on his neck. But then, how did the driver get involved being slapped? But yet, Kenya says that he reached in and just slapped the driver because he wouldn't let her into the car. So I'm not sure what transpired there. Kenya's makes more sense than what Matt was talking about, or maybe I missed it. But they trying to tell her, like, look, you gotta let this go. And they even told Matt, like, I'm gonna be 100% with you. Leave it alone. And he's like, well, tell her to leave it alone and blah, blah, blah. And of course, Kenya's like, that's not true. I'm not really asking her to come back, which I guess in this particular case is true because Peter asked, because Peter wanted Matt there. So Peter did at least ask Kenya, can I invite Matt to the event? And initially, Kenya was just saying, well, I don't want to take him away from, interfering with his relationships that he's made with, these other men. So she said, sure, whatever. So it wasn't really her manipulating, saying, oh, 1 minute she wants to hear and 1 minute she doesn't. Like, I guess she tried to be selfless for a second as far as inviting him, but then thought about it. Like, if we're going to be in the same place, that could potentially cause a scene, and I don't want to ruin Peter's event and my coin at the same time. So it's probably not a good idea. So I'm going to need you to cancel that invite. But that whole mess. But at least it didn't really get no further than the driver getting a little, slappity slap, or whatever it was. It sounded like a punch. I don't know if they put that sound effect in there, but it is what it is. Now, what I thought was interesting, or that was kind of awkward, was how after the situation that de-escalated and everybody was going home, Peter and Cynthia outside, and Peter's like, I live about 3 minutes away from here. Cynthia's like, oh, okay. And Peter's like, yeah. Cynthia's like, okay, this is awkward. He was like, okay, you have a good night. Peter tried to get some on the low. He was like, so, I just live 3 minutes away. You got this tight dress on. I got my nice suit on. We both sitting here knowing that we've been undressing each other with our eyes the whole night. If you just want to come back for some quick, divorce hanky-panky, I'm down. I'm only 3 minutes away. Like, what's up? That's pretty much what that was. But that was the Real Housewives tonight, y'all. This season seems to just keep getting better and better with each given episode. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying it. Also, shout out to everybody who's been enjoying my new little gaming videos that I've been doing for Five Nights at Freddy's. Baby, those videos are so much fun. So make sure if you guys are enjoying those videos, make sure you like and share them across the internet. Share them with all your friends who are also fans of the show and the franchise. And I'll definitely appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.